Some people walk away too early, maybe because of misunderstanding, bad timing, or fear that they've mistaken for incompatibility. Others stay for too long, trapped by guilt, fear of being alone, or simply because they have nowhere else to go. In 2022, over 672,000 divorces were recorded in the US. But behind every number is a moment of doubt, exhaustion, and quiet reckoning. And for many, the hardest part isn't leaving, it's knowing when it's time. I'm Joanni Sailor, a licensed psychotherapist with over a decade of clinical experience. And after working with hundreds of individuals and couples at this exact crossroads, I can tell you when it's time to let go and when you should stay and fight. Most people think falling out of love looks like a dramatic explosion, screaming matches, slammed doors, betrayal. But in reality, it's quieter than that. In a study led by Dr. Joanni Sailor at Cameron University, 8 people sat down to describe what it really felt like to fall out of love with their spouse. These weren't short flings, they were marriages, years, sometimes even decades of commitment. And the researchers, they didn't want checkboxes, they wanted truth. They spent 2 weeks reflecting, journaling, revisiting old letters, and unearthing buried memories. When they spoke, what came out wasn't just data, it was grief. One woman said she couldn't remember the last time they had kissed. It wasn't a fight, just distance. Intimacy had become routine or avoided altogether. Another described how trust didn't break all at once. It slipped away quietly. He couldn't pinpoint when, he just knew he didn't believe her anymore. And the worst part, how do you grieve something that technically still exists? They felt alone in the relationship. They felt unloved, unwanted, invisible. And that kind of isolation, it doesn't just change how you see your partner. It changes how you see yourself. One participant admitted, "I used to feel confident, happy. The version of me I liked most existed when we were in love. And now I don't even recognize myself." Another said he stopped believing in romantic love altogether. Not just the relationship, love itself. This wasn't one big betrayal. It wasn't a sudden blow. It was the slow erosion of something sacred. Small disappointments, unspoken resentments, nights spent lying next to someone who felt miles away. And yet, despite all that slow fading, every person described one specific thing, a moment, a final, unmistakable snap. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it was still. One man said it hit him while watching her brush her hair. Just a normal morning. It's gone, he thought. I don't feel it anymore. Another described it like a light going out in her chest. And I knew I couldn't pretend anymore. That moment, the clarity, was devastating. Because it didn't come with anger, it came with surrender. A quiet knowing that something had ended long ago, and they'd finally caught up to the truth. The lead researcher described it like this. It's a fall. First the push, loss of trust, of connection, then the free fall, trying to fix it, hoping that things will change, and finally the crash, the moment of knowing, when the air is knocked out of your chest, when you realize this love isn't coming back. And what makes it even harder, by the time you hit the ground, you're not just grieving the relationship, you're grieving the version of you that lived inside it. That's the part that no one talks about. So if you've been sitting in silence, wondering why you feel so hollow, why you ache even when nothing has been said, you're not broken. You're just finally hearing the truth your heart's been whispering for a while. The love is gone. It didn't come in a fight. It came while folding laundry, brushing your teeth, looking at them from across the room. Ordinary moments that suddenly felt unbearable. That was the pattern, and that was the clarity. But what if your moment of clarity hasn't come yet? What if you're still waking up next to someone and wondering, is this just a rough patch, or is it already over? Before we answer that, tap like and subscribe for more research-backed relationship insights. So what do you do once that clarity hits? When you wake up and realize that you're not in love anymore. You're not even yourself anymore. Here's what no one tells you. You don't leave a relationship just because it's hard. You leave when staying costs you more than it gives. You call it quits when being with someone no longer enriches your life, when it starts chipping away at your peace, your joy, your health. Not in explosions, but in emotional erosion. And more often than not, it's not about annoying habits. It's about values. When the differences between you and your partner strike at the core of who you are, your most fundamental beliefs, your sense of right and wrong, your vision for a meaningful life, that's not something that you can negotiate away. Because you can compromise on behavior, but you can't compromise on identity. A lot of people stay stuck in the fantasy that things will get better, and sometimes they do, but only when both people are willing to do the work and want to do the work. Here's the catch. People don't change just because you need them to. They change when they understand how their behavior affects you, when they can say, I get it. I see how this hurts you, and I'm willing to meet you halfway. And that's only possible when the issue isn't tied to a core value. If it is, you'll spend your life trying to fix something that was never fixable. So ask yourself, is this just a bump in the road, or is it a brick wall? And more importantly, are you the only one trying to climb it? Because the truth is, too many people stay in unhappy relationships because they believe it's better than being alone. They stay because the pain feels familiar. They hope, they wait until there's nothing left of themselves. And the reverse happens too. Some people walk away too fast, confusing preferences for deal breakers. They chase perfect and miss what's real. But what matters isn't whether your partner checks every box. It's whether they share your values, are willing to grow, and make you feel safe being fully yourself. And just to be clear, this isn't about abuse. Abuse is never negotiable. If your relationship is in any way abusive, you leave. You don't wait. You leave and you get help. But if you're in a relationship that's slowly draining you, where your joy, your confidence, your peace has been shrinking, that's your sign. Not because things are hard, but because the relationship is no longer good for you. Love is not supposed to cost you your wholeness. And if the version of you inside the relationship is smaller, sadder, more anxious, or constantly questioning your worth, then maybe it's not about holding on any longer. Maybe it's letting go so you can come back to you. But maybe you've listened to all of this and realized that your relationship doesn't match the signs. Yes, it's been hard. Yes, it's frayed. But underneath the hurt, the values still align. You still see a future together, and most importantly, you both want to make it work. If that's you, then don't walk away. Relationships don't need to be perfect to be worth saving. They just need two people willing to show up, be honest, and grow together. And if there's still mutual respect, if you're both ready to face the hard truths, and if you're both willing to rebuild brick by brick, that's not failure, that's courage. Because love can be rebuilt, and with the right support, it doesn't just survive, it transforms. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.